I can group them together. So there are my two objects grouped. Now, so there is my fox moving with his label. If I want to make it more interesting, let me just ungroup them again for a second. And what I'm going to do is take my name, the fox, I'm going to look at its object properties, and I'm going to turn its font color to white. Then I'm going to select both of those objects, just dragging the select key across them, and I'm going to group them. So now I have the fox with his name written in white underneath him. So how do I get to see his name? Well, if I drag that onto the red paper, I can immediately see his name. And this is known as the magic paper technique. So this can be done, and I will show you in about 5 minutes time. I'll show you a list of examples of how I've used this. So very simply, magic paper technique can be used using the same colour writing as the background. On the subject of backgrounds, I know frequently in classes you have pupils who are dyslexic perhaps and need a different coloured background. Yet again, with all whiteboards, it's very simple to change the background colour. So here I have a list of basic colours, or I can define a custom colour. So if I have a pupil who needs a particular colour to be able to read with the background set, and I know looking at the research at the moment that pinky beiges are proving quite useful with some types of dyslexia, I can come up with, as you can see, I can make this colour darker and lighter. I can come up with a colour that I think is likely to be correct. Do bear in mind when you're doing this, though, that if you have pupils with dyslexia, using a projector will alter the colour that you see on your laptop screen. So if you're choosing a coloured background for pupils who have difficulties with reading which are associated with colour, always have the pupil in the classroom with you in the lighting conditions that you'll use that are common. In England this will be a grey sky, and I suspect in Ireland it's sort of medium grey as well at the moment. Choose sensible lighting conditions, and I would quite honestly let the pupils experiment. But let me just show you an example. I'm going to add that to my custom colours, tell it's OK, and as you can see at the bottom of this dialog box, I can either set the current page to that colour, or if I know that my class has a dyslexic pupil in it, I can set that as a default. Now if I do set it as the default, as you can see if I move this, I'm on page 14 at the moment. If I put in add a new page, this time when page 15 goes in, it won't go in white, it will also go in this rosy beige colour. I can change it back equally easily, properties, background colour of the whiteboard to white, and just set that as a default. And now all subsequent pages will go in. It's hugely useful to pupils who have colour-related learning difficulties. Let's have another look at a simple property of a whiteboard, yet again, something that virtually all whiteboard softwares will do. I'm going to pick up the mouse from the toolbar, which gives me control of my mouse completely. So let's have a look at this, and let's have a little look at PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do is just open a document, and I'm going to look at a typical PowerPoint. Now I'm choosing PowerPoint because PowerPoint gets used a great deal in classrooms, in lecture theatres, and to be perfectly honest, there are moments when I think it gets used quite badly. I'm sure none of you attending this seminar use PowerPoint badly. The fact that you're attending the seminar means that you want to use things interactively, but let's just have a little look. Now, my fundamental objections to the way PowerPoint is used is that really it's not changeable. So if I look at a typical PowerPoint such as this list, if I go down to the bottom of my page list, can you see that all my PowerPoint screens are now saved for me with the comments, so that you, as a teacher, can note down your pupils' comments, note down their suggestions, and either use them to edit your PowerPoint later, but also, should you want to, you can export them to another PowerPoint file very easily. I'll just cancel that. Or I can print them out and hand them out. Or I can upload both my original PowerPoint and these suggestions to the web for the pupils to look at. So I'm conscious of the fact that Neil wants me to stop at about 10 to, so what I'd like to do very quickly is just to run you through some resources that I've made for the interactive whiteboard with the help of some other teachers. So let me just quickly pull up another flip chart for you which has got some existing resources in it, and let me just have a quick look, last updated, and we'll pull this one up. I'm just going to discard. Notice that it doesn't let me throw away data. I can just discard that. And it's if I'm a teacher and I'm posing a question such as why do we use PowerPoint to my class, then as soon as they respond, I have no real way of noting down that response. I mean, I've seen classrooms which have ordinary non-interactive whiteboards sitting next to them so that they can note down responses to things like PowerPoint or pupils working. There's no need to do that with an interactive whiteboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to presume that you're answering me, and I will just guess at some of your answers. So what I'm going to do is pick up my pen. Now, as you can see, as soon as I pick up my pen, at the top of my screen, I'm just going to pick up the highlighter to show you, you can see a page number going in. This means that I now have a page in my flip chart, which, if you like, is a photograph of your PowerPoint slide. So all the pupils' answers, all their suggestions, can be noted down on that slide. So you're not limited to showing them visually just what you have written on the slide. Their ideas are also being presented to the class. To get back to the PowerPoint, I simply pick up my mouse and let me show you some of the reasons that I've come up with. It looks interactive. Pick up the pen again, because the emphasis here is on the word looks. It looks interactive, but isn't necessarily. It does look like lesson preparation, and it always is, of course, and it can be reused. So reuse is important, so let me pick up my pen and just highlight the word reuse. If I pick up my mouse, I can go on with my PowerPoint. So these are the various things. I'm not going to labour this point. The question, how interactive is PowerPoint, is always an interesting one. And the most honest answer that I've ever heard is, really, it depends who's using it and how they're using it. So it's a big it depends. So back to my laptop, here's my PowerPoint running. Now, I've written down a great deal of comment here. Let me have a quick look at my page